Hey, welcome back to everybody that's been following along, and to those that are new, welcome, welcome. My name's Amali Cabral. I'm from Common Sense Inc. You can find us at www.cslawinfo.us. It's www.cslawinfo.us. And today's information package is established jurisdiction. The power is within you, not over you. In another information package, I spoke about common law versus statutory law, and it explains a little bit. I go tiny bit into what is subject matter jurisdiction. Well, this information package, I break it down in 10 pages exactly what it is. And so much so, I'm going to read you the intro to this package here as a freebie, and hopefully you feel the urge to get it because this is a must-have for everybody. It could save us a lot of time and trouble and even a trip to the courthouse. So, in the established jurisdiction package, which you can find on Common Sense Inc. website, it says, some of you reading this may not remember the song I Got the Power by the German group Snap. They arrived on the American Billboard shores in 1990, and hip-hop mainstream scene exploded beyond anything we had seen previously. Growing up, it reminded me of the James Brown classic, I'm black and I'm proud, say it loud. What does this have to do with the information package, you may be wondering? Well, now is the time to ask oneself if you've got the power to stand up to the rogue court system in the United States, or are you going to take the easy route and buy into it? These are important questions to ask yourself before you continue reading any further. The law game is not one for the faint at heart. Those who believe courage alone will see them through to another day without being financially raped or thrown into a dirty, cold 8 by 8 cell with someone you really don't like. No, this is a game of thrones, just like the book by George R. R. Martin. This is about obtaining your power through knowledge, then being fearless enough to use every cell in your body to defend your straw man through vigorous action. Who is a straw man? For those who have not read the previous information packages, which I recommend you get, this is your fictional character represented by your name in capital letters. Therefore, Amali Cabral in caps is my legal fiction. But remember, as a god in the flesh, or what the sovereign society calls your sovereign name, you can have as many names as you want, and I recommend that you do. Pharaohs in ancient Egypt had at least 3 to 5 different names after then after birth. They were aware that the name does not define the living being, but the flesh and blood divine man does. And this person who shows up unsuspecting to a courthouse unknowingly consents or willfully gives up his power as a god. To the religious people out there that believe in the Bible, if you go to Psalms 82:6, it says, I have said ye are gods, and all you are children of the Most High. I'm not for or against religion. I am not here to tell you what is right or wrong. However, I will be utilizing the truths of science, what I like to call the measurement of truths. I solemnly believe and can physically witness as you can the methodical organization of our universe. We can all say that our bodies are made up of the same atomic structure as the stars, even the ones that sustain life on the planet, like the sun. Logically, if we really think about this for a second, then we should come to the conclusion that we are no greater nor less than the very body of energy we see at night when we look up towards the sky. This is fantastic news because now, when we are being told that we are not experts or we are not smart enough to represent ourselves in court, we can understand that this is a lie. Everything that I'm sharing with you right this moment is not something I pulled out of thin air. Matter of fact, this is knowledge that was passed down to me just like you will pass it down to someone else in the near future. At least I hope. Another aspect of knowledge is that it gives us power. Okay, at first this might sound like a fantasy, but bear with me, it is not. The ideas and many thoughts you have during the course of even one day are so powerful it could light a bulb of light without having to use an extension cord attached to an outlet. Research a man in recent history named Nikola Tesla. By the way, the ancient Egyptians knew what Tesla used to illuminate the world thousands of years prior. That tells us that the information or knowledge, if you want to call it that, has always been here, and it is open to everyone who's willing to use it toward their own benefit. What I just explained to you is not common, because if it were, we as a people, an intelligent life force, would quickly realize the burden the government puts on us and the necessity to rid ourselves from such deceitful filth. Divine beings operate through laws. Man operates under rules. Rules and laws are not the same, similar to the difference between statutory codes or statutory law and constitutional laws or common law. What we learn here is about not allowing the courts establish jurisdiction over our straw man. How do we do that? If you read the previous information package titled Oath of Office, I mentioned briefly that you should never answer the judge's initial question of knowing the nature and cause of the charges that are being brought against you. First, what does jurisdiction mean according to the Black Laws Dictionary Free Online Dictionary, 2nd edition? The power and authority constitutionally conferred upon or constitutionally recognized as existing in a court or judge to pronounce the sentence of the law, or to award the remedies provided by law upon a state of facts proved or admitted, referred to the tribunal for decision, and authorized by law to be the subject of investigation or action by that tribunal, and in favor of or against persons or a race who present themselves or who are brought before the court in some manner sanctioned by law as proper and sufficient. Now, that's a long sentence, but I put it in bold, the part of it we will focus on briefly. We see that in order for the judge to operate constitutionally administering laws, he must establish jurisdiction. When do they try to do this? Well, even before you step into a courtroom, the officers of the halls of justice will try to get you to hand over your power jurisdiction. It's simply hiring a lawyer or accepting a court-appointed attorney. According to the Corpus Juris Secundum, which is a popular law encyclopedia, states the root word of attorney means a turn. It states to a turn is to turn over another's money or goods. Okay, so let me read that again. A turn, which is rooted out of attorney, states to turn is to turn over another's money or goods. And if you look up the suffix EY in the British Definitions Dictionary, it is a variant of capital Y, which is applied to names. Basically, the attorney's job is to turn over your money and goods to the court, not to defend them. This makes sense since we always end up paying some sort of fees, whether court fees, victim fees, and even attorney's fees. So their job is to take your money and goods and turn them over to the courts. Are lawyers any different? Well, let's take a look at the definitions between them and lawyers. A lawyer is someone who conducts lawsuits for clients or advises as to legal rights and obligations in other matters. And attorneys, as I showed earlier in the previous paragraph, basically conduct deals by turning over money and goods. If you notice, you see the term legal in these definitions, as some of you may have read other information packages like legal and lawful are two different things once you enter the courthouse. Legal deals with man's rules and his fraudulent codes like the United States codes or the USC codes. Lawful deals with universal common law, a governing force accepted by those who know they are sovereign of this land. So who exactly needs to hire or have someone represent them? According to Corpus Secundum Volume 7, Section 4, wards of the court, infants, and persons of unsound mind need to be represented by attorneys, not you or I. The judge's tricks go deep. That is why it is best to play the game responsibly and well organized. Take it from my experience. I learned the hard way. There are numerous times I have been arrested and seen others arrested on warrants, either by not showing up to court or simply ignoring a specified order. I wondered for the longest how this was possible, since my constitutional rights were violated by being imprisoned in some jail. Because when you give implied consent simply by not showing up to court, the state hires an attorney to represent a Molly Cabral in capital letters, the straw man, who is always present as long as they have a case against you, meaning they have the paper. Again, we're going back to people that love to push paper as reality. So as long as they have my capital name on a piece of paper, I'm legally, in their eyes, in the courtroom. And you are lawfully able to be put in jail because your Sixth Amendment rights technically have not been violated because they gave you a public trial and you lost because you weren't even there. Now, are you starting to see why it's important to separate yourself from your name in all capital letters? It is not you. It has never been you. What is eternal. It is all knowing. It transcends the physical plane, which all these rules physically men made up. Rules that can be broken easily daily. Who can break universal laws like gravity without knowing and applying physics? Nobody. So, and I go on into the next section, which is common law, and then I go into all the different, there's 4 different jurisdictions, admiralty, there's equity, and on and on and on. And then I give you some closing remarks where the do's and don'ts. But what I want to stress again real quickly before I end here is whatever you do, whether you're in civil, whether you're in equity, whether you're in a military court, whether you're in a criminal court, whether you're in family court, when the judge turns to you or the magistrate turns to you and asks you if you understand why you're in court, always say no. Always say no. Never plead. Never allow the judge to enter a plea because that's biasness. That goes right back to the course Juris Secundum, Volume 7, Section 4, which says that you, being of unsound mind or an infant, cannot represent yourself. So as long as you have competence, your sound mind, you can represent yourself. Because the judges will violate this right off the bat if they see an attorney or a lawyer representing you because you're proving you're of unsound mind or you lack the competence to represent yourself. And that's why here at Common Law Inc. at www.cslawinfo.us we advocate representing yourself. Thank you.